Behind the Veil, the Bali bombings, a night of terror in paradise. Imagine a balmy tropical night in Bali, where the air hums with the chatter of tourists, the clink of glasses, and the pulse of music from packed nightclubs. It's October 12, 2002, in Kuta, the heart of Bali's nightlife, where backpackers and partygoers from across the globe revel in paradise. Then, in a heartbeat, the world shatters. A deafening blast rips through Paddy's pub, followed by a second cataclysmic explosion outside the Sari Club. Flames engulf the streets, bodies litter the ground, and screams pierce the chaos. In minutes, 204 lives are snuffed out, and a tropical haven becomes a graveyard. Who orchestrated this nightmare? How did a plot, hatched in the shadows of Southeast Asia's jungles, bring terror to the world's doorstep? Strap in as we unravel the chilling tale of the Bali bombings, a story of fanaticism, devastation, and a hunt for justice that spans continents. A night of carnage, October 12, 2002, Kuta, Bali, was a magnet for Western tourists in 2002, a vibrant strip of bars and clubs where Australians, Americans, and Europeans flocked for sun, surf, and celebration. At 11:08 p.m., a suicide bomber named Iqbal detonated a bomb inside Paddy's pub, a popular Irish bar packed with revelers. The blast was horrific, killing dozens instantly and sending panicked survivors spilling into the street. Moments later, a second, far deadlier explosion tore through the night. A massive car bomb, equivalent to over 1,000 kilograms of TNT, detonated outside the Sari Club. The fireball incinerated everything in its path, leaving a crater 2 meters deep and reducing the club to rubble. When the smoke cleared, 204 people were dead, 88 Australians, 38 Indonesians, 23 Britons, and citizens from 21 other nations, including the US, Canada, and Japan. Another 209 were injured, many with horrific burns and shrapnel wounds. The youngest victim was a 14-year-old boy, the oldest, a 59-year-old woman. Among the dead were honeymooners, surfers, and rugby players on holiday. The attack wasn't just a tragedy, it was a calculated strike on Westerners, designed to maximize fear and destruction in a place synonymous with paradise. The architects of terror, Jemaah Islamiyah and Al-Qaeda, who could turn a tropical idyll into a slaughterhouse. The trail led to Jemaah Islamiyah, JI, a Southeast Asian terrorist group with deep ties to Al-Qaeda. JI, founded in the early 1990s by Indonesian clerics Abdullah Sungkar and Abu Bakr Bashir, aimed to establish an Islamic caliphate across Southeast Asia. Inspired by Osama bin Laden's global jihad, JI's operatives were trained in Al-Qaeda camps in Afghanistan, learning bomb-making and guerrilla tactics alongside the likes of 9/11 plotters. The Bali bombings were masterminded by JI's operational chief, Hambali, a shadowy figure known as the Osama bin Laden of Southeast Asia. Hambali, whose real name was Enchep Nurjaman, funneled Al-Qaeda funds and expertise to a team of bomb makers and suicide attackers. The lead bomb maker, Azahari Husin, a Malaysian engineer with a PhD, crafted the deadly devices, including a backpack bomb and a Mitsubishi van packed with explosives. The suicide bomber, Iqbal, and his accomplices were radicalized Indonesians, driven by a toxic blend of religious extremism and anti-Western hatred. Their target, the decadent nightlife of Kuta, a symbol of everything they despised. The investigation, a global manhunt. In the aftermath, Indonesian police, backed by Australian Federal Police and the FBI, launched a relentless investigation. The crime scene was a nightmare, charred bodies, twisted metal, and a community in shock. But clues emerged. A chassis number from the Mitsubishi van led to a used car dealer, and CCTV footage captured suspicious figures near the blast sites. Within weeks, a key suspect, Amrozi bin Nur Hasim, was arrested in East Java. Nicknamed the Smiling Bomber for his chilling grin during interrogations, Amrozi confessed to buying the van and chemicals for the bombs. His boasts led to his brothers, Mukhlas and Ali Imran, and eventually to the masterminds, Hambali and Azahari. The investigation revealed a chilling web. JI's operatives had been planning the attack for years with funding from Al-Qaeda's coffers. The bombs used a deadly mix of chlorate, sulfur, and aluminum triggered by mobile phones. Interrogations uncovered JI's broader ambitions, attacks on embassies, schools, and tourist sites across the region. By 2003, over 30 suspects were in custody and the trials began. Amrozi, Mukhlas, and Imam Samudra, the field commander, were sentenced to death by firing squad, executed in 2008. Ali Imran, who expressed remorse, received a life sentence. Hambali was captured in Thailand in 2003 and remains in Guantanamo Bay, while Azahari was killed in a 2005 police raid in Indonesia. Craving more heart-pounding stories of crime, terror, and the hunt for justice? Subscribe to Behind the Veil on YouTube at https://www.youtube.com/Behind Veil Truths. for deep dives into the world's darkest mysteries. Don't miss the next twist. The ripple effects Bali and beyond. The Bali bombings sent shockwaves far beyond Kuta's shores. For Indonesia, the world's largest Muslim-majority nation, it was a wake-up call to the growing threat of homegrown extremism. The government cracked down on JI, banning the group and launching counter-terrorism units like Detachment 88, which dismantled dozens of JI cells. But the group's ideology lingered, inspiring later attacks like the 2003 Marriott Hotel bombing in Jakarta and the 2016 Starbucks attack. For Australia, the attack was a national tragedy. 88 of its citizens perished, more than in any single terrorist incident before or since. The Aussie spirit rallied, with survivors and families forming support networks, but the scars remain. Memorials in Bali and Australia, like the Bali Peace Park, stand as somber reminders. Globally, the bombings cemented Southeast Asia as a new front in the war on terror, exposing Al-Qaeda's reach into unexpected corners. The human toll was staggering. Survivors like Australian surfer Peter Hughes, who dragged victims from the flames despite severe burns, became symbols of resilience. Others, like the family of 20-year-old Stephen Cabler, who died at the Sari Club, channeled their grief into advocacy for peace. Yet the bombers' callousness lingered. Amrosi's chilling courtroom taunt, Australians, Americans, whatever, they're all white people, underscored the hatred driving the attack. The unfinished story, terror's lasting echoes. The Bali bombings were a turning point, exposing the vulnerability of even the most idyllic places to the reach of global terrorism. JI may have been weakened, but its splinter groups like Jemaah and Dawla continue to plot attacks in Indonesia. The rise of ISIS has further complicated the threat, with Bali remaining a potential target. In 2022, Indonesia's counter-terrorism chief warned of sleeper cells still active in the region, and heightened security marked the 20th anniversary of the bombings. What makes a paradise a target? How do the shadows of extremism continue to haunt our world? The Bali bombings are a stark reminder that terror knows no borders, and the fight against it is far from over. The stories of survivors, the fallen, and the hunters who brought the perpetrators to justice are a testament to humanity's resilience, and a warning of the darkness that lingers. The final flashpoint. Stay tuned for more. The Bali bombings ripped through a night of celebration, leaving scars that still ache. But the story doesn't end here. From the jungles of Indonesia to the courtrooms of justice, the fight against terror is a saga of courage, loss, and unrelenting pursuit. Want to uncover more tales of intrigue, bravery, and the battle against the shadows? Subscribe to Behind the Veil at https://youtube.com/behindveiltruths and hit the bell icon. The next chapter is waiting, and it's going to be a wild ride. What secrets will we expose next? Join us to find out.